Hi, I'm Becky.
And I'm Lindsay, and we're here talking all things BHVA, insights, coaching, mentoring, the arts, things that we're passionate about.
Yep.
And today we're looking at the topic of just imagine. I don't know about you, but I quite often sit having a gin, possibly with this one.
We don't do that much.
Yeah, we do. And we sit there having a gin and going, oh my God, just imagine if. And they're so exciting, those little moments where you go, just imagine if we could do that. But so much of the time they're left as just imagines when they don't need to be.
No.
They don't need to be. And sometimes it's about turning those just imagines into reality, and how do you do it without getting overwhelmed. I'm probably the worst person to start talking about this, so I'll start this bit and then I'll let this one come in. So when we do these just imagines and we have our little plans and our ideas, like taking on the old bingo hall and what it's going to look like, I very much have the sort of brain that goes, just imagine how we could do that. Right, okay, so then I have to put all that detail into place and go, right, so we're going to do this, we're going to do this, it's going to end up going like this, it's going to end up, and then all of a sudden it becomes too big. And my brain just goes, well, that's just too much, I can't do it, pop. And I work with a lot of students that do that too, just with, whether it's with arts, whether it's with education, whether it's with social needs, whether it's with behaviour problems, it's like, it's just too much. So I'm just not going to do it. So I'm just going to cut that off. And I've done that quite a lot in the past. This one helps me not do it. So we're pretty good at
we're a pretty good team.
We're a pretty good team because of it. Because you need some more of that.
I need more of the just imagine.
Because
I'm scared to imagine that big. But once someone does that, I can then make it manageable and I break it down.
So we want to talk to you today about the just imagines are so important. I think in work, in life, having a team like this, that's why we work so well together.
Yeah.
You need that just imagine, you need that big ideas, and you need that process driven to bring it, to make it chunk, make it manageable. It's so important to have that. But the world and all the cool things that happen in the world all come from a just imagine and a big idea. We saw Seb Coe, didn't we, a few months back, and he was chatting about the moment he stood in this derelict area of London and was going, just imagine over there's going to be this, just imagine.
But it was even before then. It was even before then.
Oh, on the back of
this is when there were two of them in a pub planning the 2012 Olympics in London, and there was two of them in a pub going, right, so this is what we're going to do. And from this kind of beer mat where they scrawled little notes on to two of them, to having the International Olympic Committee being taken out to Stratford over this derelict wasteland, to them showing them or trying to explain how this absolutely, and I've seen Stratford before it was built, just this whole derelict wasteland, and trying to explain how it was going to change and transform into this thriving athletic city and all these arenas and sports venues. The journey was phenomenal, but it takes that one person or that two people or a small group, however many, but that initial step to go, just to imagine, oh no, I want to do this. Go on, let's try it.
And it is going from that just imagine to let's do it. I mean, our journey started like that. Let's be honest about it.
Oh, completely.
So in COVID, we were sat at the end of the day, having been homeschooling children, stuck in the house with children on our own, no adult conversation, running a business, turn it online, just going, we need some outlet. So we'd sat on the pavement of an evening drinking, quite honestly, and putting the world to
rights. And
the
neighbours who were walking their dogs or going out for walks in the evening just walked past laughing their heads off at us, because every evening we were there, gin or Prosecco in hand, just going, do you know what? This is our download and our offload.
And in that download and that offload, we were like, just imagine if we could do that. This is all the problems that we see with different bits. Just imagine if we could make a difference. Just imagine if we could do our Arts for Learning programme. Just imagine if we could get hold of the bingo hall. Just imagine if we could go into schools and have that impact with those children. Just imagine if we could start working with the NHS to do some of those services. And all these just imagines were like turned into, well, let's do it. Let's try and do it. Then comes the hard work. And that's where you can't get overwhelmed, and you've got to take it step by step. Yeah. So we talk our students through this, we talk professionals that we work with and coach in the business world through this, you need that vision, you need that just imagine, you need that why, you need that end goal of what it is you're trying to achieve.
The why's not even there at this stage. Your just imagine is just a dream.
Yeah.
And it's that vision, it's that long end goal, which is far, far on the horizon. And it's meant to scare you. If it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. Let's just put that out there straight away. That was Rupert who taught me that one. He calls it the BHAG, and it's used in the coaching world. Big, hairy, audacious goal. And I love that. Yeah. If it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough.
We had one evening just talking just about our BHAG, didn't we?
Yeah.
What was our big, scary, audacious goal? And it's you need that just imagine, but then just because it's so big that it scares you doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, it overwhelms you. You've just got to break it down.
That's just the destination. So imagine you're planning this most amazing trip to your dream destination. So for me, I desperately would love to go to the Maldives, just because I like reading a book, I like being in the sun, and I'd like to be without my children because I love them loads. But I'd like some me time. That's my big dream in my personal life. Now, everyone can relate to that, because once you've made a set of a destination, you then go, right, so how am I going to get there? What am I going to do? And you look at all the options and you create a plan, and you look at go, right, so if I do this, then this is going to impact here. If I do this, then this is going to help this bit. And you look at it and you look at all the different options. So you start creating this idea, and then you go, okay, the finances start coming through, you go, oh, that's too expensive. Okay. So then you look at what you can compromise. So you have your Disney vision and your Disney destination. It might not be Disneyland, it might be Disneyland. But then you look and see, okay, well, that version may not be hugely realistic. So let's break that down and let's see what is achievable, what is attainable, what's going to push us, because we still need to be able to push ourselves and enjoy ourselves. If we don't push ourselves, we're not going to grow, we're not going to develop, we're not going to develop a greater understanding, a greater learning of what we're looking at and trying to do for ourselves. But we've got to look at those and then look at what's going to be attainable and realistic in achieving that. And I've missed my train of thought completely.
It's fine, you're there.
And then from there you can set those smaller goals to achieve it. So you've got that destination, and then you start building your itinerary to get there. That's where I was going with
and the big thing about this is that, yes, the what if, the big dream is important, but that should not be your measure of success, because in breaking it down into these manageable chunks, that what if might evolve and it might change a little bit, and it should change and evolve.
It needs to, and your path on the way to that goal is also going to change, because there is always more than one pathway to get to anywhere, and there are going to be places where you're going to see roadblocks that you couldn't anticipate. I mean, we live by the A14, the A1, the M1, and I think every day at the moment there is a crash on the roads. That won't even go down that road. No pun intended. But it means that the journey's been disrupted, so you have to find another way around. You don't just stop there and wait. You go, okay, so how am I going to get around this? And the same thing needs to apply when you're talking about those just imagined dreams.
And it's having that toolkit, it's having that resilience, that when it doesn't go right and that you do get that blockage in the road, that you don't see it as a failure. You don't see it as it stopped, I can't do it. You go, right, well, I can't do it that way. I'm going to take a side step and try this route. And we try and teach our students that as well, don't we? In just their everyday practice, what we do. Yeah. They come across problems, and it's that problem solving, and it's such an important skill to have, to not just go, well, that hasn't worked, there's no point carrying on. And I get why a lot of people go there. We've been there before in our past, and we've had to battle it, because a lot of external influences have come up to us. We go, well, what's the point? And it is realising the point is taking control of your own destination, whatever that is. You don't have to have a destination that's prescribed or the result of other people's actions. You get to choose. And so being able to take a minute to stop, reflect, process, sidestep, move on.
And it's also changing your viewpoint. This is my uncle, when I was getting married, turned round, because as you know, with weddings, there's always problems.
Always politics.
Always. There's family politics are the worst. And he turned around to me and was just like, Becky, just remember there are no problems, there are only solutions. So actually, when you're coming up to a roadblock, you're coming up to a potential problem, it's not looking at it from a problem focused mindset, it's looking at it from a solution focused mindset. So, okay, this is what we're going to hit. Okay, so how do we get around it? Do we go over here? Are we taking a big detour? Do we only need to take a small detour? And how are we going to fix it? It's not, oh, I've got a problem, I can't go any further. The question is how? How are we going to turn it around? How are we going to fix this? How are we going to resolve it? Is it a case that we can actually fix the problem? Is it a case that we go, we're not going to be able to fix it, we're going to cut there, we're going to go a different route? And that's where the journey will vary and change. But it doesn't mean your goal has to change in your dream.
No,
your just imagine idea.
And it's really important that when you're thinking about all those different goals and the journey as well, is that you put timescales in, but that those timescales are adaptable as well.
Yeah.
You need some timescales that go, right, I need that done by next Friday, because there's a consequence if you don't get that done by next Friday. But you don't need it all done by next Friday. You go, do you know what? It hasn't got done by then. That's okay. I can do it by this time instead.
But we've also got to make sure that, yes, you've got to have certain things done by times, but it doesn't mean that it needs to be 100% accurate.
No.
Or correct. It could be that your done by next Friday is, I need to achieve 3 practice sessions. It doesn't have to be a goal that is, I've achieved an output.
Yeah.
The output can be, I've just done practice 3 times.
And along those goals and those journeys, it's about making sure you surround yourself with people that are going to help you do that as well. It's not all on you to get there. Even just practicing to be able to do a singing exam, you might need to enlist the help of the family around you to give you the space that you need. So you've got to have that conversation to ask for help to enable you to do it. And so it comes back to something we spoke about before, is this open communication as to who you've got around you and who can help support you on that journey. Not necessarily by doing the work for you, but helping facilitate it so you've got the right environment for you to put those things into place.
They say no man is an island. And whenever you've got a just imagine dream goal, you need to have a team around you. Whether or not you're the one that's leading it on your own, you've still got to have that support, whether it's someone that you can talk to and offload, whether it's a coach, whether it's a business coach, dance coach, voice coach, or whether it's like you have a team of people to then add in that administrative support, or the accompanying, or a third viewpoint, all of that. But you've got to pull those people in. You can't be afraid to ask for help.
And sometimes people see involving other people as a negative, because then it brings accountability or other viewpoints,
or a sign of weakness,
or they see it as a sign of weakness, that they need that help. But actually, asking for help and pulling the right people in to help is one of the biggest things that needs to be celebrated, which is something we want to say about this idea of celebrating all those little tiny things. People in the sporting world talk about marginal gains.
Oh yes.
And the 1%, and what 1% change can you make that then makes a difference. It's about celebrating all of those tiny little steps along the way. The celebration doesn't have to wait for that big end goal, the big dream, the big just imagine. The celebrations are all the little bits along the way. We're in the middle of a massive project at the minute, and there is no way. Everyone keeps saying, are you there yet? Have you got it? Have you done it? And we're like, no, because that's way down the line. It's years away. But you know what we have done? We have gained the support of all the local community, of counsellors, of business people. We've had letters of support. We've had financial support. We have raised the profile of our mission. We've had other businesses from out of area contact us to see how they can support us because they're excited by our vision. So yes, we might not have our big just imagine dream yet, but we're raising the profile of us and what we do along the way.
And because we're doing that and we're celebrating each of those little goals, every one of those is taking that step further.
It's little bit by little.
Have you ever seen it? I'm hoping they may have done as well. There's a picture out there where you've got 2 ladders going up into the sky.
Yep.
And one of them's got really big rungs and the other one has got smaller rungs.
Yep.
The easier ladder is going to be the one with the smaller rungs, and actually you're going to get there quicker by doing those smaller steps.
And do you know what? All of those little smaller steps, you might feel brave and you want to take 2 or 3 at the same time. But you can, because you're choosing to, because you're not having to force yourself to reach for that really high one that's out of reach.
And maybe be unbalanced and come a cropper.
Yeah. And it all comes back to you feeling like you've got the choice and feeling empowered again.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you feel in control and you're empowered and it's manageable, it's going to be more successful rather than it being out of control and feeling too much.
So I think just imagine, get those big dreams, but then don't get overwhelmed by them. Break them down and look at how you can break them down into smaller chunks. And then each of those chunks go, okay, so how can I break each one of those ones down to even smaller bits? So you've got one little thing at a time, and then you can break those down into more tasks. So then that overwhelm doesn't actually come into it.
And who am I going to have around me to support me? Who am I going to look for to help me? And how am I going to celebrate the stuff that I do achieve?
Yeah.
Because that's the important bit along the journey.
Celebrating, you have to celebrate each little milestone, each little, I want to call them halfway points, but they're not halfway points.
Yeah, just each little achievement, each little win. Every little win matters in the big pot of it.
So go out, go dream, break it down, and go and ask for help.
And enjoy the journey. Don't just keep focusing on the final destination, because the big dream will happen, but only if you enjoy the journey on the way.
Definitely.
Yeah, right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
See ya.